Peace and blessings to everybody, hope you guys are well. So I thought I'd make this video before I put out my second project, a new foundation, which is going to be on all streaming platforms on June the 22nd. And this is one of my biggest projects that I've worked on to date. And I wrote all the songs, I worked on the art cover on my own, I did the promotion and all the ideas with the promotion on my own. And of course some help with some friends as well. I wrote the pitch, which is pitching some of the tracks to Spotify to try and get some of the tracks on a playlist. So it was a fully packed creative project this was, that I had to put a lot of energy into. And with this being the second music project that I'm about to put out, I've realized that there's a lot of challenges that come with putting out projects, especially really big ones where there's a lot of different pieces of work and art in it. So I thought in this video I would share some advice that's worked for me when it comes to putting out these big projects and seeing them all the way through. My first piece of advice would be just to relax. I know there's a lot of fear and anxiety when it comes to putting out works of arts into the world. There can be deadlines, there can be budgets, there can be collaborating with other people, and there can be just the idea of trying to put out your best work you can to the world, and that in itself can be quite stressful sometimes. You gotta understand that some things are out of your control. Working with other people come with different mood swings, different personalities. If you're filming a music video outside, which has happened to me personally, and the weather's bad, or the roads are blocked off, or there's people telling you that you can't film here, there's different challenges that come with creating art, and you're putting different environments. Just understand that some things are going to be out of your control, and you need to just relax and let things be, let things flow. Because I've noticed that if you try and hold tight onto certain ideas and certain ways of doing things, trying to control people in a certain way to get them here on time or to act a certain way, you start to get tense, and that doesn't help the project at all. It's best that you remain flowy, you know what I mean, and you kind of just flow with how the project's going. Sometimes the weather might be bad and you've got to film somewhere else, but sometimes that turns out to be the best thing. Or sometimes, for example, someone might be late to helping you out on the project, or shooting a certain scene, or getting some songs mixed. Some people can be late, and that being late, instead of stressing out too much about it, I find for myself, which has worked a lot, just to relax, trust the process and trust the timing of things. Sometimes certain songs or projects coming late, it works out to be the best for both of you guys for different reasons, you know what I mean? It kind of works out later on if you just trust the process. So just relax as you go along your project. There's going to be different obstacles and challenges, but you got to just take it as it comes and just bob and weave with the punches. So my next piece of advice is to stand on it. And what I mean by that is to really decide and commit to the project that you want to see through to the end. Sometimes people don't finish projects because they're 50-50. They want to do the project, they want to finish it, but they really haven't committed their full energy, their full creativity to finishing off the project. So really decide that this is the project that you want to do, that you want to finish, because it's going to take sacrifice, it's going to take a lot of energy and creativity to put into a project, especially if it's a big one, for you to see it all the way through. Make a deadline for your project. I think that really helps you stay focused on what needs to be done, and really helps put a bit more pressure on you to get things done as well, because without a deadline, you can be a bit wishy-washy with when you're going to finish the project. With the project that I'm about to release soon, a new foundation, I didn't have an exact deadline to where I wanted it finished. I had a brief idea that it was going to be in the middle of the year, maybe around winter, when it would be cold weather and people would be ready to listen to some music. I didn't have an exact date, but everybody works a little bit different. Maybe for you want a specific date that you want it done by. For me, it was just a rough time of the year that I wanted it done. So that really did help me, put the pressure on to get things done within that time period. Something else that'll really help you commit to your project is telling someone else that you're going to finish it. It could be a friend or a family member, and just explaining to them that, you want to do this project, you're going to finish it by this date or around this date. And by telling them, it creates social accountability, because it's not just you and yourself and your goals, but it's someone else to keep you accountable to your goals that you can work with. So, tell some friends, tell a family member, maybe release it on social media that you're gonna do this project this year and you're gonna put it out, and that keeps you accountable to finishing it. So some creatives are either really good at this or really bad at this, and it's being organized. When it comes to creating a project and putting it out there to the world, it's going to take organization skills for you to organize, the different plans that you're making for your project, organizing time for you to build your project, organizing other people if you're collaborating with other people, organizing budgets and promotion, different tools that you're going to be using. If you have an end date in mind, it's really good to be organized with time as well. So having a notepad or a book or some notes on your phone is a really great idea to have, so you can note down what's happening within the project, any new ideas, any new contacts, if you're collaborating with other people, if you're purchasing beats, for me, if you're a musician or a rapper and you're purchasing beats off YouTube, writing down how much beats are going to cost, how much marketing is going to cost. Having everything organized within one book is a really great idea to have, so get you a book or a notepad. The next piece of advice is to build momentum. If you're starting from scratch with a project, you're starting with that first song, that first page of a book, that first painting that you want to do to fill out a whole project, you got to start somewhere and build momentum. And sometimes that's the hardest part, is just starting, create that first song, write that first lyric. And along the journey of creating the project, for myself, how I normally work is, alright, I'm going to make a project. I start with some demos, I start with some drafts. The first song doesn't have to be the best, the first painting of yours doesn't have to be the best, but along the journey of the project, you're going to get all the bad ideas out, all the bad songs and the bad paintings out of you, and eventually you're going to come across something that's really good and that's really going to stick, especially if you have a certain concept for your project. A certain song title or an idea might come across that will really fit for the concept of your project. So, get through those bad ideas and keep working, because I remember for this last project, I was working on a lot of demos, and then eventually this one track really stuck, which was called Change of the project.
Honey, you my team. So much time to myself and I still don't give it up free. I'm down for the long haul, trying to ball like John Wall.
And around that song, I really built the aesthetics and the sound about what I was doing with the project. So sometimes you just need to start with something and keep building, And as creatives and artists, that we do make bad work. Our best work is what we put out there, but our bad works, we have to get through in order to find those really great works. So build that momentum, keep pushing. Once you get that first page going, all of a sudden you're going to be a month into your project and realize that you've got a whole chapter done. So build that momentum and really keep it going through all the different phases of your project until the very end. So I save the most important piece of advice for last, and that is to let go and just have fun. When it comes to starting your project and finishing off your project, it's so important to really let go. You got to let go of other people's expectations. You got to let go of the standards when it comes to art. You got to let go of your own anxieties and fears. You got to let go and enjoy the process. Be in the moment. What comes in, put it down on paper. Don't be too judgmental about what you're making, like I was saying before, because eventually, as you work through the process of creating art, you're going to come across that really great idea or piece of work that really sticks. So let go and be present. It's so important, and have fun. That's probably the most important thing to do, because as artists, when we're having fun, when we're playing, when we're in flow, is when we create our best work. So make sure to always let go of the groupthink that's happening within the art world, and even let go of your own perception of the standard that you want to create. Of course, have a high quality that you're trying to push towards, but let go, because if you're really holding on tight to a certain quality of work that you're trying to create, if you hold on too tight, it doesn't give you room to really flow and create and bring up new ideas. So be free, flow, and have a lot of fun while you make this project. With every project that you make, there's going to be different challenges, there's going to be different obstacles, and there's going to be different people that you're working with and different ideas that come about. You really have to learn to adapt and really flow within your projects. I think that's really important. And as you go along making these projects, you're going to learn the ins and outs of how to get a massive project done, and how it works, the different phases and stages, the drafting, the editing, the finalizing, the communicating with other people. There's so much you can learn from doing a big project, and once you've done one big one, you can take those skills and transfer it onto the next. So I think it's a really great idea to create a big project, a big body of work that you can put out there, because when you do that big body of work, instead of just one song, one single, one painting, one poem, when you create a big body of work, you know, you're really combining all your skills and producing more skills and refining more skills that you can take on to the next project. So that's a wrap for this video today. Our new foundation is dropping June 22nd. I hope you guys can have a listen and give me some feedback. And I'm really keen for this drop as well. So peace and blessings to you all, and stay cool.
Keep it up for 3 days, yeah. Look at my eyes, I'm playing for keeps. No gold digger, but I'm digging deep. One step forward, I can hustle backwards. Living life and she's speaking like Spanish.
Are you on that mission? Taking them steps to elevation while you getting lifted. Burning these trees, sacred smoke. That's that chronic. My ancestors told me.
The weed that I'm smoking, I feel it centers me.